What's up? It's your boy Josh Crawford here with No Cap Sports. If you were wondering what I was doing, um, in the famed words of shout out our boy TJ, fellow Louisiana Kentrail Golden, I was drawing symbols in the sand so my pain is gone. And the said pain has been everlasting for being a fan of one, the New York City Metropolitan Jets. Actually live on a rock. NFL trade deadline just passed on Tuesday, and it was a wild one in particular for my favorite team, the New York Jets. Down to the basics, you trade away two of your foundational stars of this era of Jets football. You trade away Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for two first round picks, a 2026 first round pick, 2027 first round pick, and Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, for one second round pick and one first round pick. Also, to add on to that Sauce Gardner trade, something that we'll touch on a little bit, you get former second rounder and former Texas receiver A.D. Mitchell. So just jumping into it, the Quinnen Williams trade is definitely something that was more heavily discussed. Honestly, a little bit more expected, to be honest with you. Connor Hughes over at SNY, somebody that I keep a lot of track of, obviously, reported yesterday, immediately after the Quinnen news broke, that Quinnen Williams had requested a trade three times before this ultimate trade with the Cowboys came to fruition. Now, Quinnen Williams, obviously, we know where he came from Alabama, a very winning college program, and he had visible frustration on the sidelines before, just about the lack of winning this year going on in the Aaron Glenn era, but just in his general tenure as a Jet. Connor Hughes also reported that going into this year with only $5 million on Quinnen Williams' contract, $5 million of guaranteed money going into Quinnen Williams' contract, that there was basically a 0% chance of him resigning with the Jets, which, transparently, I can understand a guy that's one of the best run stuffing D tackles in the league. It has a pretty high pass for ceiling. He wants to play some winning football, and at a position like defensive tackle, where we know interior pressure is the easiest way to disrupt the quarterback, he wanted to go play for a team to where he can see himself consistently in the playoff race, consistently being a factor. So I understand the move, and considering the circumstances, getting two picks of that caliber for a guy that you knew was out the door, I say not mad at it. Just in the business that the NFL is, being able to secure that level of value for an asset that it was a very real possibility of losing it for nothing for, I'm not mad at. And as we transition to the Sauce conversation, being able to, maybe not necessarily interiorly, but your defensive front group as a whole, with Jermaine Johnson, with the emergence of Will McDonald, really at the end of last year, but also really this year, at least from a pass rushing perspective, you're able to sustain that blow a little bit more. So you have a little bit more of support in terms of, at least on the edge, which you'll be losing, and also a guy that, like you said, had a very, 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 very real possibility of getting nothing for that asset walking out the door. I think it's really good value to get back. Now, the major bombshell, the one that actually came first, as I was sitting eating lunch at my new job on Tuesday, was the trade of what Ahmad Gardner. Now, Sauce Gardner just signed a 4-year, $120 million extension this offseason, and had been touted as a cornerstone of this team going into this year. Obviously, remember his first 2 years in the league, first rookie since I think the 70s to be first team All Pro. In general, just in the way that the NFL is now, where you just a pass happy league, to have a guy of that caliber, particularly a press man cornerback, is invaluable. It's worth its weight in gold. Now, yes, there has been some regression. I'm not going to sit here and say that Sauce Gardner is the best corner in the league, like I believe that he was even 12 months ago. Some people believe the regression has happened more than that. But for my money, still, I know people like Derek Stingley, people like L'Jarius Sneed, all that. But after Patrick Surtain, any other cornerback in the league, I'm gonna take Sauce Gardner. Yes, has he gotten a little grassy and holesy, and has there been transparently a little bit of a change in officiating towards him? I think so. But Sauce Gardner, I think, is undoubtedly a top 5 corner in the league. And again, the particular play style that he's able to play, being able to even the interception production isn't there, the amount of punch outs, the ability to play with his hands, the ability to wrestle with guys and bother guys at the line of scrimmage and at the catch point is invaluable. And I'm gonna be, maybe not on the LeBron level, but I'm gonna be rocking with Sauce wherever he goes. So
okay.
What?
The Jets traded Sauce today.
To where? To where?
No, it's okay.
I don't get that. It's like a rivalry jersey.
It's okay. I'll get you a different one. He went to Indianapolis, and they also traded. They also traded Quinnen Williams.
I played Sandy deal.
He did, but so did Sauce.
No, I don't like the Jets. That did Quincy leave?
No,
The
Quincy's
Jets
still
are
there.
the worst. I'm taking down all the Jets stuff now.
No, it's fine. Quinnen Williams on the Cowboys. Sauce went to the Colts. It's okay.
I want the Colts now.
Guess what? We got 3 first-round picks for it.
shout out Indiana Jones and the Colts. Their surprise were to be there to go pushing the chips in to get a win now move. But talking about the value, 2 first-round picks. This Desmond Bain trade that the Grizzlies did in the offseason, and say that's an asset, at least on the court wise, that I really just going to be missed, and it's on an elevated level with Sauce Gardner versus Desmond Bain, but the return is undeniable. The only problem, well, not the only problem, how bad the team is the main problem. But one of the biggest problems I had with this trade is trading a guy. I talked about the level of support and reinforcement that you have to cushion the blow of losing a guy like Quinnen Williams with your defensive lineman. That factor is not there whatsoever with this pass defense and this cornerback room in general. Brandon Stevens coming over for the Ravens has been really bad, which could be kind of expected because he wasn't that good with Baltimore last year. If you looked at their pass defense, honestly, I think the best corner that we have on this team right now may be A.Z. Thomas, the rookie from Florida State, that I like. Also a longer, lankier guy in that press man mode. And Jason Brownlee, who was not a Jet to start the season. So you instantly turn a team with no lack of weaknesses to a team that has to address a cornerback weakness. You have to use some of the draft capital that you got, with the Quinnen trade and the Sauce trade to go address that hole that you got with Sauce. In the current state of the NFL, if you don't have a cornerback one that you feel comfortable traveling with the guy, you're good as dead. And to give that asset up after you resign Sauce and, forget about the regression after he's proven to be the player that he is at this point in his career, that hurts. That really hurts. And again, I'm not here to argue with the value, but just to see what that move means to what the current state of the team is and where we're at as Jets fans, I think it signifies a level of disrespect if we're going to talk big picture. I feel undoubtedly 2 cornerstones of the team with Quinnen and Sauce. But if you want to say that as good as they were, these were not winning players or they hadn't contributed to winning, that's undoubtedly the truth. I'm here to hear that argument. As great as Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner were, they did not contribute to winning in any type of way in New York. So there's nowhere to go but up with them leaving. But you need elite players at premium positions like they were. And to give those away for guys that are in college, again, I think just signals a sign of disrespect to the current way that Jets fans have been treated for the past decade. Obviously, you got a new GM and a new regime in there. Obviously, they don't feel like Quinnen and Sauce were their guys. Garrett Wilson isn't their guy neither, but they kept him. But it's also a bit of a contradiction. You're paying $23 million to Justin Fields, so you made a win now move, or at least a move towards competitiveness at quarterback. So just getting a little bit of getting a little bit of mixed signals in that way. To have a guy that you're paying that amount at quarterback, but also with this move to essentially be punting on not only the rest of this season, which at 1-7 you were going to anyways, but more than likely next season. So Jets fans, after basically a decade of putrid football, are subjected to at least 2 more years of non-competitiveness. And I just think that to a certain extent, you got to get that a little bit more respect for your fan base. Ultimately, closing this out, it comes down to two things, how I view it. And neither one of these two things changed with either one of these trades. You have to go get a franchise quarterback. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you think Fernando Mendoza's your guy, go get him. If you think Dante Moore's your guy, either this draft or next year draft, we have 3 first-round picks in 2027, go get them. I was a Lenore Siller guy. I planted my flag on that at the top of this year. Definitely has not panned out. He has eligibility left. If he goes back, shows the progression, that would be a guy I would like to see. Nothing about this situation and the trend of Jets football is going to change until you go get that franchise quarterback. Second one, and we see kind of this trend in Dallas right now with Jerry Jones. I don't believe things are going to change until Woody Johnson is no longer the owner of the Jets. We see how Jerry Jones's inability to not overstep and mingle in team operations, double negative there, has restricted Dallas in their pursuit since I've been alive and pursuing Super Bowl. Shout out my boy Vance. And I think Woody Johnson's biggest problem has been the inability to trust the right people, so put the right people in place to be able to manage his hands-off approach. And that's outside of some of the problematic things that he associates with off the field, to be politely, but also just some of the cavalier language and some of the things that he's been reported to say to Justin Fields, Jordan Travis. If you watch the Region podcast, his energy permeates this franchise. I think that until you replace that energy, that kind of feeling of curseness and perpetual losing will kind of continue. Stepping back, yes, the Jets got theoretically really good value for both of these deals, but it puts a lot of pressure on your scouting department to really cash in on the draft capital, especially in the replacement of one Ahmad Gardner. And, there's a lot of talk being made about the books being clear for a big free agency class, maybe next year. Yes, this is true. Also, the last time the Jets had a surplus of cap space, they signed Tremaine Johnson and Le'Veon Bell. Maybe not too hopeful about the prospect of getting some targeted free agents in New York. I can say it's going to happen. It's still the New York City metropolitan area, but that strategy has been trying to explore and did not work the first time. So ultimately, I'm tired. I'm tired of the Jets fan. I'm tired as somebody that, regardless of outcomes, enjoyed having 2 elite players at their positions, and Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. And I'm just tired of the lack of direction, the lack of competitiveness from this team and seemingly this franchise. And regardless of what you think about the value and what this trade means, undoubtedly, that lack of competitiveness and disrespect to Jets fans is set to continue in the wake of these moves. So now, if you'll excuse me, I will continue to draw my symbols in the sand until my pain is gone.
Drawing symbols in the sand till my pain gone, baby. Moving on to the land where the gate closed, baby. They say Ken Trail got a baby, he ain't nothing but 13. They told me that he needed love.